Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are looking at Kathopanishad chapter 1, part 2, verse number 24, but just recapping 23. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaisha vrunute tena labhyaha tasyaisha atma vivrunute tanun swam. So here what is talked about is that Atma is not a result of any process. This is very important to understand. Atma is not a topic of understanding also. Because our understanding is also a process. First we did not know, now we know. Atma is not that we did not know. There has never been a moment that you have not been the self. Yet, sadhana is required. So, for the devotees, we told you last week, for the devotees, the God reveals himself, reveals himself to the Lord. He absorbs the devotee into the Lord, because the devotee has come with faith and reverence and respect, and he is surrendering to the God principle. But when we come to the bhashya, where here there is no question of, here it is the self, here it is the Atman, and the self knowledge. It is the seeker. He is not seeking it outside. Even God, you cannot. World is God. We don't have the eyes to see it, but he can be discovered only in the heart. But Shankaracharya is going beyond. He is saying, because when we think of God as someone separate to us, and therefore we need to surrender. Here we are talking about not God realization, we are talking about self realization. There is no difference, and there is difference depending how you look at it. If you take God to be the innermost core of yourself, then he is not separate to you. But still, at the thought level, when you are thinking of God, by name, by form, I think I explained all this last week, isn't it? By name and form, we keep him as an object to whom we need to surrender. And when we have become focused on him, surrendered to him, and in that process of surrender and remembering him, the whole world goes out of our mind. Urvarukameva bandhanat. Our mind becomes like a lotus on the dirty waters. Then when the mind has reached that pristine, that immaculateness, then there is the mind loses its identity, and the God absorbs into him, or the seeker, the devotee, merges into the divine. When we are talking about self-realization, is there a merging? Is there a surrender? Is there an absorption? No. We may talk in those terms sometimes, but in self-realization, there is no none of these things. Why it is none of these things? Because the seeker himself is the sought. All you have to do is, just like you are a wife, because I see many more ladies than men. So you are wives and you have discovered that you are a woman. That's it. So were you not a woman before when you were expressing as a wife? Yes. Now take that example and bring it here in this example, in this context, that you may be playing various roles, very simple roles, waker, dreamer, sleeper, but you are always the unchanging one. That is the basis. The coming and going roles cannot express themselves without there being a substratum. And that substratum I am, that substratum one is. And when one in his inner journey, and this substratum cannot be sought in the outside world. Why we can't seek it in the outside world? Because the moment we become extrovert in our approach, I'm talking from principle point of view. Sometimes even when we are sitting on the seat of meditation, our approach is extrovert. So therefore so many thoughts in the mind. Then when we are at the sensory level, even so much in the world. So where there is extroverted approach, there is variety. And where there is variety, there is no focus. We may be able to focus in the world and achieve great wealth and great success and great whatever, and say that that is the result of I did it, my focus, I became concentrated. And we get a result there. But that is not the case when it comes to coming to the Atma. Atma is revealed by its own grace. It is always self-revealed. We cannot do anything. You have to just accept. As a seeker, we have to just accept that we are that which we are seeking. And what we are seeking is within ourselves. Is the seeker outside in the world? Is the seeker at the senses? Is the seeker at the mind level? Is the seeker at the thought level? Or is the seeker in supporting all of them, but in spite of them, he is a separate principle? So when you know the world comes and goes, you know the senses keep changing, attention on the senses keep changing, you know the thoughts keep changing, you know the I thought appears with every objectivity. I know this, how many? 2 times already you have spoken. But because you have said I, and if there is no I, do you become absent? No. That principle, which is at the material level, at this relative level, this is the language we can see. That principle, which is unaffected by the presence or the absence of the I thought. That which is the substratum of all the roles that we are playing. It is supporting all the roles, but it is independent of all the roles. You can intuit it. Right now when I'm speaking about it, you know it is there. But right now what is happening? You are listening also, so you are a listener. And listener cannot be without the substratum. So are you being the listener or are you being the self? If you are being the self, the listener will vanish. Listening will happen, but listener will vanish. This is very wondrous. This is something which is mysterious. This is something miraculous. This is something unexplainable. And 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 Atman is not a causation. It is not caused because of our thinking. It is not caused because we are studying scriptures. It is not caused because we have meditated. Because I meditate, therefore I get into meditation. No. Then our going into meditation is the cause and that becomes the effect. No, it is not like that. Self is self-revealed. It is always. So in this way, either we can, but if God is the cause, if we can say God is the cause, then what are the conditions that he imposes? If we say that it is the individual's karmas, if we say it is individual karmas, then we limit that God has come into my life, meditation is happening in my life, great wealth has come into my life, or whatever. The sadhana, good people, wise people, mahatmas, everything has come into my life because of my good karmas. The moment we say it is because of my good karmas, we limit the power of God. Because our karmas have become more important for his revelation. That's stupid. He is the material and the efficient cause of the whole universe. And here we are saying it is because of our good karmas that we are having this opportunity of listening to the scriptures or talking on the scriptures. No, it is not. Then we limit his power. So that cannot be so. But this is how by default, we keep talking that way. So in the end, when we come to a knot, we are not able to understand, then we say everything is mysterious, everything. No, I'm not able to understand anything. It is a good thing. Mysteriousness, you don't, it's a miracle. It's something beyond logic. This Atmic knowledge is a miracle. This is the language is used. So what is that? What is a miracle for us? Ashcharyavat, wonderment. What is that? Which is beyond time, space and object, because beyond the causation of time, beyond the causation of space, beyond the causation of an object. And therefore, and even the deeds that we are doing. It is even beyond the process of the universe, because in the process of the universe, one thing leads to the next. From the space came air, from the air came fire, from the fire came water, from the water came earth, from the earth came plants, from the plants came life, and it goes on. There is process. Miracles have no process. They are spontaneous, instantaneous. And therefore, that word for that mysteriousness, that miraculousness, we use another word, we say grace. Grace of God. Because we can't understand it. See? And what is that grace? Grace is combination of all the things that we just spoke. You see? So there is no one bit which sticks to him. And in this way, when the jiva is not able to understand, then alone the God reveals himself. If he takes a position that I know, I am doing the sadhana, I have gone into samadhi, why has the God not revealed himself? He will not reveal. You have to come to the not knowing. Then alone the God will reveal. Where all our efforts have brought a knot in front of us, there alone the truth reveals, the God reveals. But when we come to the Atmic self, that was about God. Now, when we come to the Atmic self, here, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyah na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. It is not revealed by scriptures. It is not revealed by the speech, by lectures. It is not revealed by any process. So, what is the conclusion? Atman is the subject. It can never be the object. The self is the subject itself. It can never be the object. And we can manipulate the world, we can manipulate people, we can manipulate our past, our future by way of thoughts. But here, this Atma, it cannot be manipulated by the instruments because he is not within the purview of the instruments. What are the instruments? The 5 sheets. Or what are the instruments? Where is the put 3? Manasa vacha kaya. It cannot be manipulated by the mind, by way of inference, by way of logic, by way of what do you call, concentration, focus. It is required, all these things are required, but it cannot be caught by the mind. Aprapya manasa saha. It cannot be caught by the speech. Natat, what is that word? Yato vacho nivartante. The words cannot reveal because words are limited. They have a beginning and end, and therefore they are not able to reveal. That is that which is infinite in nature. So manasa, vacha, kaya. Kaya means deeds. Deeds are very gross at the body level. So they cannot all, they are so gross. Atma is the subtler than the subtlest. Therefore it cannot. These, so speech, mind, intellect, body, etc. They are, so here when it is said, pravachanena medhaya, pravachanena labhyah na medhaya na bahuda shrutena. So the speech, when it says pravachanena, it is only taking speech, but it is representing all the senses. So senses cannot catch it. Just as senses cannot catch the mind. The self is even subtler than the mind and intellect. How will senses catch it? So the senses cannot catch it. So not through them we can catch, not through the mind we can catch the Atma, not through the intellect, medhaya. Medhaya is intellect, intelligence. We are very, very smart. We are mathematicians. We are doctors. We are, we have done PhD in Vedanta, etc., etc. Oh, zero. Cannot be caught by the intellect. You may be chanting, you may know by heart the Rudram, you know by heart the Vishnu Sahasranam, you know by heart the Kathopanishad. But that is not equal to knowing the self. Intelligence will not work there. Intelligence is a function of an instrument called intellect. And intelligence also comes and goes. It is not permanent. How? Very simple. Stop eating for 7 days. You will find out. You can't think. You will forget your own name. You will not be able to remember your own name. So not by intelligence can the Atman be realized. Why? Another important point. Manasa, Vacha, Kaya, their natural tendency is to move outwards. The body functions in the world, the senses move out into the world, the speech is only addressing the world. And the mind is continuously thinking thoughts about what? It's thinking thoughts about the world, naturally. If left alone, that is what it will do. They always catch the object. They always go after the object. They always articulate the speech is, the thought is about the object, never about the subject. But mind cannot function without the subject. Senses cannot function without the subject. The objects cannot be known without the subject. Who is this subject? So we have to put some little bit initially as a seeker. Just as last week we told you, just as the eyes cannot see the eyes, mind cannot come to know the mind, the intellect cannot come to know the intellect, itself, meaning the eye cannot come to know the eye. The eye is in the intellect. So their job is what? The job of mind and intellect is what? It is to dictate what the senses should do, what it should see, what it should not see, what it should get indulged in, etc., etc. And this is where our downfall comes. We live at sensory level, and senses are not to be trusted. See? And therefore, again and again in all the scriptures, it is told, control your senses, control your senses, control your senses. And as a result, when we take senses as the five senses and the mind and intellect, then even that reality, that Atman, the self, is taken as an object to be pursued, which is part of objectivity, which is the part of the world. So Atman becomes another word in the world which needs to be pursued and a result to be gained. And once you get caught up in this objective approach, this objective pursuit, then nobody can help. And therefore, see, only Nayamatma pravachanena labhyana medhayana bahuna shrutena. You try to understand this yourself, very difficult. And therefore, you come through the parampara, and then and this Atma, the direct perception of the self, the direct knowing of the self, which is Yame Vaisha Vrunute Tena Labhyaha Tasyesha Atma Vivrunute Tanun Swam. The second part of the second line of the verse, it says that this is the mystery. What is it? It is about Atma Sakshatkar. What is this Atma Sakshatkar? The Atma chooses the Atma. It is not that the Jivatma, it chooses the Atma. Careful here. It is not the individual self who has realized the Atmic self. That can never happen. It is the self which has chosen the self. When that happens, the Jivatma vanishes. Why? He was the ghost in the first place. When the woman or the man comes back to being the man, the ghost called husband or wife vanishes. In spite of the man or the woman of your life being in the room. But you are not available. So the Atma chooses the Atma, or God chooses the God, because He is alone, if you want to take it from that point of view. It is self-knowing. It is self-knowing. There, this corruption of thought, this corruption of speech is not possible. And who is this? That fortunate person. Who is this fortunate person? Who has withdrawn himself. Withdrawn himself where? He has withdrawn from the world to the senses? No. He has withdrawn from the senses to the mind? No. He has withdrawn from the mind to the intellect? No. He has withdrawn from the intellect to the reflected consciousness? No. But that process is there. When our attention is that seeker, that fortunate seeker, who has got fired up and is withdrawing from everything and withdrawing himself, who is this? Me, this I, into what? I. So he's withdrawing himself into himself, the true him. And in this way, a point comes where there is no distinction possible between the one who was withdrawing and the one he was withdrawing into, both being the same. And in that, the consummation, you call it consummation, you call it indistinguishing, non-distinguishable, the relative self and the absolute self. There's no distinctions there. You are the supreme subject. You are the supreme spirit. And when only you are, nothing else is. That is Atma Sakshatkar. That is direct perception of the self. Thereafter, what is there? Only the self is there thereafter. To such a person, the Atma reveals itself, and as I have already told you that it is not a part of the process, but how is it revealed? It happens instantaneously. But that moment has to come. You may do all the process of going to bed, but when the sleep comes, before you know, you are gone. You can light a fire in a big, small hill of paper, and the fire is burning, spreading itself from paper to paper to paper, and it's moving up. But within 2, 3, 5 minutes, the critical heat in that mountain of paper reaches critical mass, and there is spontaneous combustion. Boom! Everything is on fire straight away. Can you catch that moment when it is going to happen? Can you catch that moment when the mind is about to go to sleep? You can catch. You are there. You are at the self then. See, it's instantaneous. All we have to do is withdraw into ourselves. Withdraw into what you call? Renounce the world. Renounce the senses. Renounce the mind and the intellect. This is a special knack which we need to develop. Even while the renunciation is going on, the world keeps coming at us, keeps demanding our attention. We have to keep invoking a equipoise, an equanimous state, a poise within, which is undisturbed on account of data coming from outside. Because we are not, Atma is not against anything or for anything, because it is all that there is. The self is all that there is. How can it oppose anything, and how can it be favorable towards anything? Can the water be favorable or in opposition to any wave or ocean? Not possible. No, 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 I love small, small waves, but I don't like tsunami. It digs deep into myself, into the water. I hate it. No, it doesn't. It's everything is water. So this disposition we have to bring about, where, and that will only be initially understand and be focused on the self, the unchanging one. And that is why many people are seeking, many people are writing, many people are going to satsangs. A rare one, it clicks. For a rare one, it clicks. And it is not necessary that it clicks only because you went to satsang. Many people it clicks without going to satsang also. But there is a good chance that when you are attending satsang, because of the clarity, because of the garbage in the mind is sifted, like the moss on the waters are sifted, underneath is clear water. So the moss, the dross of manasa vacha kaya, the mind, speech and deeds, all that is covering, gross, subtle and causal, remove it, come back, be. So this instantaneous, this sudden consciousness which encompasses everything, nothing is outside it. It is all that there is. That is called as Atma Sakshatkar. That is called direct perception of the truth or the self. It does not, Shankaracharya is saying, it comes by the maturity of sadhana. And what is the maturity of sadhana? From many come to one. And recognize that one, that unifying principle, that transcendental principle, you are. Oh, but I am taking the name of the Lord. I am meditating for last 30, 40 years. I have studied Bhagavad Gita 10 times. I have studied the Upanishad hundreds of times. Why is it not happening? You find out where where the link is going wrong. It is indescribable. You have to find out, because no teacher can teach you that. No scripture can teach you that. No God can teach you that. You have to find. Each seeker has to discover. Either you are or you are not. Acha, I accept I am. Gone. Come back next Wednesday again. It's indescribable. You have to find out. There are no answers. One word is enough. No word is enough. See? we may see many times we have done even the meditation we have done effort to effortlessness, from desire to desirelessness, wanting to sleeplessness, meaning you are not desiring anymore about the sleep. When you are in sleep, you are not desiring sleep. How does it come about? If you continue to desire sleep, you will not fall into sleep. So, our efforts, our sadhana, our contemplation, our subjective approach, all the sadhana is required, the practices, the process is required. But we must be very, very alert that when the last moment comes, that last moment, that instantaneous moment, the moment of abidance is not to be regarded as the result of the previous processes. So, what was the previous process for? You were choosing some aspect of objectivity to cancel all other objectivity. So the Vedantic process is old notions, old conclusions are replaced by new ones, but the new ones are 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 such notions which do not lead to any conclusion. This is, see, and this is exactly what we are doing here right now. We are talking about that last moment is not a conclusion of the previous process. It is the Atma is beyond the causational process. Having said that, now about the previous verse, now let's go into the 24th verse. What is that? Navirato duscharitat, navirato duscharitat, ashanto na samahitaha, nashanto na samahitaha, nashantamanaso vapi, nashantamanaso vapi, prajnanenainamapnuyat, prajnanenainamapnuyat. Together. Navirato duscharitat, nashanto nasamahitaha, nashantamanaso vapi, prajnanenainamapnuyat. He says, one who has not desisted from bad conduct, whose senses are not under control, whose mind is not concentrated, whose mind is not free from anxiety about the result of concentration, cannot attain the self through knowledge. So these are now the negative. First it was told what should be done, which must result in non-conclusion. At the mind level, non-conclusion. But the self is self, no? And that's the flash. That's the realization that I always was. J. Krishnamurti, who was blessed by so many teachers, eventually, when he realized at a very young age, he came to know. From that time, he said, "Oh, no guru is required, no scriptures are required." And for 50, 60 years of his life, he only propagated no guru, no scriptures. See? Why? Why did he do that? Was he anti scriptures? Was he anti gurus? No. One who has come to know, for him there is nothing thereafter. He took that angle. The Shankaracharyas, they are realized, they continue. There are many realized masters, they realize, they continue teaching. See? But here what is being taught is that a person, if he is not self-disciplined, if he has got not, if he doesn't have a moral purity, if he doesn't have the mental purity, if he doesn't have the intellectual purity, he is not qualified to know the truth. He will keep beating about the bush because of lack of purity. And this requires, for anything in life, you need focus. If you want the success to last, if it has to be a lasting success, then there has to be moral purity in our relations, in our social engagements, in our business. There should be some principles with which you live. But if we are bad mouthing everyone, gossiping about everyone, we may be taking bath 3 times a day. We may be brushing 2 times a day. We may be getting up early in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock, Brahma Muhurt, put on the Nama or the, and the Vibhuti, do our pujas, Om Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkara, and all the 1,000 names we are taking of the Lord, and sit in meditation. And the moment we come out of meditation, then bark at every damn person who comes to us. What's the point? Physical purity, good clothes, clean clothes, doing puja, everything, ready to take that piece of stone as God and be disciplined at the physical level. But at the mental level, there is a drought. Ever ready to react to every damn thing that comes by. So if the mind is not tranquil, see, if our outside activities, if our interactions with the world are not leading to a quiet mind, somewhere something is going wrong. Understand this. And that is what he is telling here. That if a person has not stopped behaving badly out there in the world, if a person does not have a mental tranquility, mental peace, if a person does not have the grit, the commitment, the sincerity, the bhava, if he can't collect his thoughts together that I want to know the self, the Atman, and I am going to turn this world upside down to come back to myself. It's not the world, physical world he's going to turn upside down, or from extrovertedness I'm going to be introverted. That is upside down world for us. So until that conviction is not there that I can know the Atman here and now, in this lifetime, whichever way you put it, till then you will not live a disciplined life. Till then the mind will not withdraw from the world. Till then the mind will not become single-pointed, focused, which is a prerequisite. For what? For no result. Because self is not a result. But it is requirement. It is a requirement. So therefore here it is told, just as before it was told, Manasa Vacha Kaya, that the truth is not within the purview of these three, mind, speech and deed. Similarly, here it is told in this verse that a person should refrain from all kinds of evil thought, evil speech, evil deeds. And then what will happen if he refrains from that? He will attain calmness of mind. See? Calmness of senses, we will say, mind included, or you can say just the sense. If our interaction in the outside world is with integrity, then our senses also come under control. And senses are the ones who are bringing the data in and presenting to the mind. When the senses are under control, automatically the mind and intellect will be also calm. Control means calm. Senses mean calm, not continuously. Who has come, who has gone, who has come? You must have seen. I can see from here, you may not see. If the door opens, who's there? We are in the middle of what topic? Atmic self. The door opens, the cat comes, little bit thirst, what pani, ready to sabotage the whole focus. It got distracted by thirst. It got distracted by responding to that thirst. In that few moments, our focus is gone. Oh, but the doctors say we have to keep lubricating. Are you a machine or what? We are presenting here, or you are here to know the self, which is beyond the machine, called the instruments. So therefore, here the words which are told, what are the words? Where are we? Na virato, na virata, nisharta, na shanta, na shanta manasa. 3 words are taken here. What are these 3 words? So let's see. What does the Bhashya say? न दुश्चरितात् प्रतिषिद्धात् श्रुति स्मृति अविहितात् पापकर्मणः अविरतः अनुपरतः न अपीन्द्रिय लौल्याद् अशांतो अनुपरतः न अपि समाहितः अनेकाग्रमना विक्षिप्तचित्तः. So here it says that that those bad karmas, those prohibited karmas, what are the prohibited karmas? There are 2 types. Nishedha karma, that is prohibited, and the other is kamya karma. All actions prompted by desires must be avoided. Remember, you don't desire hunger, it happens. You don't desire waking, it happens. You don't desire bladder pressure, it happens. I'm giving you only 3 examples. Similarly, everything is happening. Let it happen. Problem comes where our will comes in. It becomes the impetus, it creates a great everything. If you leave everything, it will all become quiet by itself. But that desire, it keeps adding momentum to the waves of the mind, to the action, to the speech, to the senses. And the mind, as a result, the senses are never able to calm down, the mind is not able to calm down. So how do we refrain from bad conduct? we should follow the Shrutis and Smritis. You study the scriptures, the Upanishads or the Puranas. In that, all the what is beneficial, what is not beneficial, all that is there. And whatever the pap karmas, whatever bad conduct is told in the scriptures, we must refrain from. If you don't know this is too much scriptures, I don't know, then listen to some wise person. If you don't have any wise person, listen to some good person who is around you. As you are committed to be a better person, automatically right people will start coming into your life. It's automatic. You be the seeker. And not a person. Here it is, na api, the one na api indriya laulyad ashanto anuparataha. So the one who is not what you call, who has not got his indriyas, meaning the senses, under his control, and as a result he is not able to have a quietness. Uparati shunya, meaning he is not able to withdraw from the senses. Are we able to withdraw our senses from the world at a drop of a hat? When we come here, imagine, you must have done it maybe in Australia. Do it sometime. Buy some expensive slippers or shoes, $80, $100, $200 shoes. Go to Indian temple. Don't put it in the place where you can get a token for your shoes. Leave it outside the temple, where everyone is throwing their shoes off. And then go inside and see what you remember. Do you remember God or you remember your $200 shoes? Whole time, Om Namo Narayana, I hope my shoes are still there when I get back. See? So we are gone for a good purpose, but where are we caught up? We are caught up in shoes. Similarly, when we come to meditate, when we come to satsang, we chant 3 Oms, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. We are supposed to drop everything and come to ourselves, come to be. That's it. With the commitment not to be disturbed by anything that comes your way. Not phones, not thirst, not hunger, preferably not even changing your position you are sitting in. That comes with practice, but you be committed to it. It will start happening. There you go. So, Uparata means we are not Shama, Dama, Uparama. Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. Samadhan means contentment. That contentment is not possible unless and until we are not masters of withdrawal. Withdrawal is happening. Every night it is happening. You are going to sleep, but it is involuntary. We are here talking about voluntary withdrawal. If the husband goes away, wife also goes away. It is natural, it will go away, because then this daughter comes, mother comes out of you. So this is involuntary. Daughter comes and woman remains. Try, give it a go. What refinement is required? Where you have to see, those are the moments when you keep experimenting with this. you will find your own answers. And you know, if you sometimes thirst is there, hunger is there, and you don't get to eat because you are busy doing something. After some time, hunger goes away, isn't it? Hunger goes away. So don't give in. Uparama means ability to withdraw. It must be at our beck and call. Involvement should be at our beck and call. Withdrawal should be also at our beck and call. This is a big learning. We go to a retreat, we come to a satsang, oh, it was so wonderful, it was so deep, and then we remain, no, if someone calls you, hey, give me my food, or someone calls, I don't feel like, I put my phone off, I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't want to interact with anyone. Why? I am trying to elongate the experience of the meditation. I am trying to elongate the feeling of satsang, beautiful thoughts, wonderful thoughts. So you are living in memory after that, once the satsang is over. Truth is available only here and now. At the sensory level, at a moment's notice, involvement in the world, at a moment's notice, withdrawal from the world. This acumen we have to develop. This acumen will not develop if we are too focused on the world. This acumen will develop when our attention, our interest is on something greater, the self. But at a very gross understanding, see no evil, hear no evil, talk no evil, we talk about that. Don't expose your senses to such movies, such books, such stories, such people, such environments. Once someone called me for dinner. Swamiji, let's get together for old time's sake. What do you mean by old time's sake? No, before you went to ashram, I'll call some people from that time. We all know you from that time. I said, okay, call, how does it matter? You are okay with it? I said, why should I not be okay? Khana mil raha hai. I'm getting food. She says, meat. I said, your house, you do what you want as long as you don't force me to eat. Drinks. I said, it's your house, you do what you want, you don't force me. What I have to do, I will do. I thought she was just testing me. When I went there, the husband comes with a bottle of beer. Swamiji, after a long time I am seeing you. Acha. Next one came, gave a bottle of, a peg of scotch. The other says, I want it with soda, 2 cubes of ice. Then the third fellow came. I said, hey, yaar, I'm in a wrong place. They were asking me, but I thought that I can't say, that I can't impose myself on someone. That no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. It's your house, you do it. That if a person understands that language, it's good. So while this was all going on and people were coming in, suddenly I could not handle the smell of alcohol and all that. Immediately I called someone. And there's no one on the other side of the call. I said, oh, emergency, acha, I'll come to the hospital. 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I kept talking to some ghost on the phone and found a way out. I said, I have to go. I'll come back later once the emergency is over. Oh, but we did it for old time's sake. I said, you are all old people, get together. Old means you are all from the those days. You get together. I'll come when emergency is more important. Party is not very important. Got out of there. Came back at 10:30, 11. Now she had prepared food, some vegetarian also. So, elder than me. So I ate little bit food. I said, no, I'm not too hungry. बचा के रखो अपने आप को. If someone is gossiping about someone else, immediately cut it and stop it. Because if you are interested in hearing, then you will also do the same. If you want to gossip, because we are naturally inclined to gossip, isn't it? So if you want to gossip, gossip about God stories, gossip about yatras, gossip about Himalayas, gossip about the rainbow, gossip about something that which does not precipitate as sin. See, very important. And then it says here that na api samahitaha anekagra mana vikshipta chittaha. And third, again another person is told, and he whose, in other words, he whose, they are talking about uparama, the one withdrawal. Who is not able to withdraw? They are giving example, explanation, that whose mind is not single pointed, which means the one who is multi pointed, he can never meditate, he can never come to know the self. So prerequisite is what? Ekagra Chit. Yoga Sutra says, Moodha Mana, 5 types of mind are given in Yoga Sutra. Moodha Mana, Vikshipta Mana, Kshipta Mana, Ekagra Mana, and what is the 5th one? One more is there, it will come. Moodha, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and it is zero mind. Okay, the last one. So what is Moodha Mana? Stupid mind. Stupid mind is what? Never understands only. Why not understands? He understands opposite. Kshipta Mana. Kshipta Mana is obsessed mind. Agitated mind. Vikshipta Mana, here the word Vikshipta has come. Distracted mind. Majority of us fall into that category. In small things we are able to focus, but most of the time we are Vikshipta. We get distracted very quickly. Then what is the 4th one? 4th one is Ekagra, which is single pointed. And the 5th one is zero mind. So the stupid mind, the agitated mind, the distracted mind, and the zero mind, all are not qualified for knowing the truth. Because zero mind means sleep. How can you pursue the truth there? Then what is the only one which is conducive for spiritual growth? Ekagra Chit, single pointedness. Single pointedness means consciously moving from manyness to oneness, from multiplicity to unity, from effect to cause. At a relative level, that is the language. Keep finding. The cause of the world are the senses. The cause of the senses is the mind. The cause of the mind is the intellect. The cause of the intellect is the reflected consciousness. Reflected consciousness. Who is the reflection of? That is the ultimate. Now don't go, hey, what is that after that? You stop there. See? Samahita chittah api san samadhana. Where are we? 79. San samadhana फल अर्थित्वात् न अपि अशांत मानसः व्यापृत चित्तः प्रज्ञानेन ब्रह्म विज्ञानेन एनं प्रकृतम आत्मानं आपनुयात्. Here he says, many people, not even that person can come to know who wants a result of single pointedness. You have become a doctor, you have become an engineer, you have become a investor, or whatever profession you are following. You have become married, you have found a girl, have children. It is all because you got focused that you want your life to unfold in this way. You want to achieve success in this way. Without focus, without ekagra chit, without concentrated mind, focused mind, we could not have achieved it. Now we have practiced that for so many years, that when we come to the spiritual journey, there also we think, if we are now single pointed, we want a result. And what is the result? I want to be the self. Self is not a result of single pointedness. Then what is single pointedness for? Single pointedness is to counteract multi pointedness. And when multi pointedness has been diffused, has been sublimated, dissolved, the single pointedness also goes away. Then what remains? Then you remain. A thorn is removed by another thorn and both are thrown away. Keep remembering this example again and again. Self is not a result of single pointedness. But here, what we are talking about in this verse, what are the habits that one cultivates and therefore is not qualified to know the truth? That we are looking at. The one who does bad deeds out there is not qualified. The one whose senses are uncontrolled is not satisfied. The one whose mind is agitated, distracted is not qualified. The one who is, now you can even think this way. Oh, I don't do any bad deeds. So your senses will be calm. But senses can get agitated because of desires. For that, what is the cause of the senses? What is behind the senses? The mind. If the mind is calm, the senses will continue to remain calm. You can forcefully make the senses calm for some time, but one desire is enough to destroy the calmness of the senses, the dam which we had built on the senses. So we have made the mind okay. Now mind, single pointedness. Single pointed, someone will say, I'm not multi-pointed, I am single pointed. I can chant my mantra for 2-3 hours continuously. But we come across people who have been chanting mantra, who have been doing their rosary for 10-20 years. Their question is that our mind is not quiet even after doing so much sadhana. Their question is, why Lord has not given me darshan? Darshan means why He has not appeared and in front of my mind. Why He has not given me darshan? Because because I am doing japa. What is the presupposition? That my single-pointed approach, because that arrogance of single pointedness is there, and because this is how you have lived in the world, You focus and you achieve. There is a result. You want the God or the Atma, God for the devotees, Atma for the self, for the Vedantis. You want that this single pointed which I am practicing for, before it was 5 minutes, now it is half an hour, now it is 1 hour, now it is 2 hours, which is 3 hours, now it is going on whole day. I don't have to even sit in meditation. My mind doesn't go away from the God's name throughout the day. Why consummation is not taking place? Where is our attention? On the result. These are the drawbacks of each stage that we are showing here. Navirata, Nishanta, Na Shanta, Na Shanta Manasa. Na Shanta Manasa, mind is not quiet. Where are we? So, mind becomes distracted, mind becomes multi-pointed when the result is not gained. When you practice deep concentration and when you come out of it, or when you are with that deep concentration, you are conscious, you are not going to sleep, you are consciously practicing that. And when you come out of meditation, arey yaar, again the bloody world is there. I thought I was realized in meditation. What happened when I opened my eyes? Slowly, frustration seeps in. This, we have gone through that. You have to practice in your life. Because result orientation. See? And because he is expecting something to happen as a result of his single pointedness, that expectation leads to agitation. That is the rule. So why do we become single pointed? For no reason. Because it is the right thing to do. And I explained to you before, single pointedness is to counteract multi pointedness. It is not to make the God reveal himself. It is not to make the self reveal itself. Self is self revealed, God is God. He also graces by his vision or by his sound or whichever way. Here it says, Vijnanena enam prakritam atmanam apnuyat. That person see here, what they are telling here is, we are all living in transactional world. And this transaction is, what is in it for me? Again, result orientation. And he whose mind is continuously in the business of what is in it for me, when am I going to get it? I have done so many years of practice. I am so deep in meditation. I understand all the scriptures, etc., etc. I know so many Mahatmas. I have done so many things we have done. At the outside level, deed level, we have done all good deeds, donation there and pilgrimages, this, that. At sensory level, God's image is there. Mental level, senses are calm, mind is calm, single pointed. But his but is waiting for a result or expecting a result, such a person cannot come to have the Atma Gyan. And here he says, what does he say? Just let me check. So a person may be single pointed, but if he is not settled in the mind, meaning na shanta manasa, his mind is still agitated, is still distracted, whose mind is not at rest, because he is wanting the results of the focus, he is wanting the results of concentration. So, such a person cannot attain this self. That is the topic. Prajnanena. That is the topic. Such a person can gain the knowledge through knowledge of Brahman, because Brahman or self is self-revealed. It's self-knowing. Continuing, यह तु दुश्चरिताद् विरत इंद्रिय लौल्याच्च समाहित चित्तः समाधान फलाद् अपि उपशांत मानसः च आचार्यवान् प्रज्ञानेन यथा उक्तम् आत्मानं प्राप्नोति इति अर्थः. Here it says, so conclusion is told, and that conclusion is, but that a man who has refrained from all bad conduct, who is free from the slavery to the senses, listening to beautiful music is also slavery. Free from the slavery to senses, where we are talking about seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, and whose mind has become focused, concentrated, and who is also free from anxiety about the results of concentration. Fifth, Acharyavan Prajnanena, and has a teacher, has a guru. It does not need to be a physical one. Eknath Maharaj had a guru who was born 300 years before him, Jnaneshwar Maharaj. And he was a realized master. So we can also select. But don't select, let the guru come to you. You only remember, stop bad conduct, control your senses, make your mind single pointed, expect no results, right teacher will come into your life. Every student of truth, every seeker has gone through this. Or if you read the biographies, they will also say the same thing. They are telling that the same way. In my life also, same way it happened, which I have mentioned many times before. So don't make a guru. Again, if you want a guru, then I desire a guru, I want a guru, and I have to should I make him a guru or should I make her a guru? I think I'm more feminine, and if I make a male person into my guru, then there will be a bit of conflict of interest, I think woman power, I'll make a woman as my guru. Gaya, sir. This is not the way spiritual unfoldment works. So all our job is deeds controlled, senses controlled, calm, unwavering, mind not fluttering, focused. and not wishing for a result. Till here you come. Some people can go forward, some people may not. So it is helpful that a teacher is there in your life, whose grace is upon you. So here he says, and has a teacher, such a person, Atmanam prapnoti iti artaha. Such a person, it is possible for him to gain or realize the Atman, the self which was talked about for last few verses. This Atman. Iti arthaha. So it is said. Yastvanevam bhutaha. But if a person is not like this, in the next 25th verse, we will not do it today, we will do it next week. But if a person is not like this is a very funny verse. Yasya brahma cha kshatram cha ubhe bhavata odanaha mrityuryasyopasecanam ka ittha vedayatra saha. Together, yasya brahma cha kshatram cha ubhe bhavata odanaha mrityuryasyopasecanam ka ittha vedayatra saha. Iti Kathopanishadi Pratham Adhyaye Dvitiya Valli. Is concluded, is it? Oh. We'll conclude it next class. But today we'll conclude here. So understand, what is the topic that we studied today? Our conduct in the world must be disciplined, it must be integrated. Our senses must be calm. Our mind must be single-pointed. Our mind, while it is single-pointed, it must not look for a result or expect a result or wish a result of single-pointedness. And we must have a guru in our life who can bless us with the right knowledge, right guidance, etc. Such a person, it all depends upon the seeker. It is not up to anyone else. It's up to the seeker. Such a person may be able to attain the truth if he has these requisites within himself. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment, few moments.